Alrighty. Guys just finished rucking, just got out of a meeting. We are going, so the guys are doing their best sapper, the engineering competition, third week of April. So we are doing a little pre-comp for that the last week of March. Meeting I had was to plan that out. In case you're curious about what the best sapper competitors do, we will be doing a total of 59 miles in a 3-day period, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 65 total throughout that week. When their actual competition comes, they will be doing roughly 100 miles of movement on their feet, rucking and running, in a 3.5-day span. So we're hitting about 80, 75, 80% of that in our pre-competition. But it's all of that with a bunch of skills, shooting, demolition, all of that in between. So it's going to be a wild few days. I am going to be putting in most likely 3 back-to-back 12-hour days. So I'm getting my 40 hours in basically 3 days and then some throughout the week. So very excited. It sounds like absolute hell, but I am going to have fun being a part of that because with the Army, they really push for the civilians, especially in H2F, to go in the field to do a bunch of stuff with that. Just because of the best sapper competition I've been doing, I don't get to go on many of those opportunities because I'm usually working with these guys 4 hours a day and then doing their stuff for them in between. So this will be not my first, but one of my first chances to actually be in the field and go do all these events with them. I think I'm actually possibly going to go shoot with them next week. We'll see. But yeah, so that's what we got coming up. Mac and Rory, 2 of my athletes, competing this Saturday in Charlotte. Rory's just lifting, just doing the competition just because. We're already going there. Mac is attempting to qualify for junior nationals. Her best competition total is just 1 kilo shy of what she needs. She's at 142. She needs 143. So she is going to knock that out of the park this weekend. We're going to go get some lunch and hit up Costco after that. Into the real shit. The stuff that all 10 of you tune in for. 10 is probably a very high number on what I'm saying there. I think our top video had like 350 views. So the lowest, the average is probably like around 20. So like 5 of you into the real shit. So placebo works. We know that. Every single study has a control group for a reason because they have to take into account the effects of placebo and nocebo and all of that jazz. So we know for a fact that placebo works, and it works very well. Like in some of those studies where they are placebo controlled, the placebo itself has like remarkable fucking results where it's like blowing shit out of the water. Like how the hell does placebo have that big of an effect? Well, the brain is a very, very powerful thing. And if you believe something will work, like if you're getting prescribed ibuprofen and you're taking a sugar pill, you're still going to have some pain relief because the brain is a very powerful thing. The brain is going to actually change how you perceive things and change how things actually happen to you. So we know placebo has a very large effect on every single aspect of your life. If you believe in something, you're going to get better results. That's essentially what we're seeing there. But then, at the same time, as coaches writing programs, most coaches don't take into account what the athlete likes to do. It's, hey, there's never really a question of, I ask this in every one, what are your favorite variations, what are your least favorite variations, so I can get an idea of what you enjoy doing in the gym. Like, most of our heavy total days end with arms, end with bicep curls, triceps, shoulders. You just get a big pump, looked fucking jacked, headed out for the day after you felt strong as hell. We know placebo works. However, a lot of people, sorry, burping up a storm over here. A lot of people really don't take into account actually putting that into practice. You go through your super science-based, research-backed program, have all this like perfect periodization structure, all these things. But as we know, if the athlete does not believe in it, it does not fucking matter. If your athlete does not have 100% belief in the program and in you as the coach, your program's all but shit. If they don't fully believe it, then they're basically noceboing themselves out of it. If they don't think something's gonna work, well, their brain is a very powerful thing, so it's probably not gonna fucking work. But then at the same time, if you talk to your athletes, which is already a big fucking stretch of just getting people to not just talk, but like actually listen and hear and implement and use their feedback, listening to our athletes. If you listen to them like, hey, I feel so fucking strong before competition when I do no contact snatches. You know what I'm gonna fucking do with you before competition? We're gonna spam the fuck out of no contact snatches, because at that point it's like, I don't really care like if a no contact snatch is actually gonna help you or not. You have so much belief in the fact that it will, it's going to help you. And if it doesn't actually like increase your 1RMs, that doesn't matter, because the amount of confidence it's going to instill in you is going to be astronomical. And then the just amount of trust you are going to build with that athlete, because they then see, oh, this is in my program. This coach actually listened to me, heard me, took into account my feedback, and made it work in a way that makes sense for me. So we got a lot of approaches there. So same thing, like the athlete says, oh, I really hate going from the hang. And yeah, well, all right, like, cool. Do you just not like it, or is it just something you're bad at? If it's something you're bad at, all right, we're probably going to do it anyway just to get you better at it. But if every single time they do the hang, they feel some sort of weird pain in their adductor, I'm just making shit up, and you just go out and do hangs, they're not really going to progress that much, is my guess, because they don't fucking believe it. They hate that movement. They're going to be walking into the gym every single day they have that movement, absolutely fucking dreading it. Like, oh my God, I really don't want to do this. I fucking hate this. They're not going to put in their best effort because it's not something that they want to do, something they believe in. Like, there's that ho-hum crowd of, hey, weightlifting's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be fun. You're trying to do this to win, trying to compete. Like, just put your head down. Don't be a bitch. Do the work. That's okay. But realize the people who actually pay your bills as a coach are not the people vying for Team USA medals and international medals or the Olympics. Like, those people do not pay your bills, because they are not the ones. One, they're not the ones who have a lot of money, because if they are, then they only have a USAW stipend and a couple sponsorships, but they don't have a full-time job outside of, or like a normal job outside of that, besides training. And there's just not a lot of them. Like, Team USA only has so many slots per year on so many international meets. The Olympics only has 3 men and 3 women this year, and 2028, if we're even still in it, probably going to have 2 or 3 for each slot. So just purely based off numbers, and the number of coaches in the U.S. is astronomical too. So the fact that, yeah, you can have that attitude, but that's not going to resonate with a lot of people, because the majority of people, if you're a full-time coach, so the ones who are actually paying your bills are going to be adults, mostly, or youth who want to do the sport and their parents are paying for it. But people who have expendable income. Coaching is a luxury service. It is not something that everyone can get. It is a luxury. So you need someone who has expendable income who can afford said luxury service. And then it's also most likely someone who has a full-time job, or they're in school, or they have a bunch of other priorities where, yeah, weightlifting is something they love, something they want to do, but at the same time, it's not their life, or at least it shouldn't be. So you go about it with this big tough guy attitude of, yeah, you just gotta fucking love it. Like, if you don't like the grind, then maybe the sport's not for you. Like, all right, you're not gonna pay your fucking bills. You're not gonna be a fucking coach, or at least a good coach or a full-time coach for very long, because those people who fit with that attitude are very, very small. And it's highly unlikely that you're gonna have like a multitude of international athletes. Like, we don't have a lot on our team. Like, we have currently 5. Last Olympics, Spencer took 3 to the Olympics, which is an outrageous number. Most coaches have 1, maybe 2. And that's most coaches who have those athletes. The vast majority of coaches don't have athletes of that caliber. So for the people who are actually allowing you to be a coach, you can't go about it like that. there needs to be an aspect of enjoyment to it. And if there is an aspect of enjoyment to it where that athlete specifically says, hey, I really enjoy doing these things, or hey, these things really make me feel strong. I love doing these things this far out from competition. I love doing this right before competition. You better fucking listen and you better put that in there. It does not matter if, oh, actually, that's probably not the best approach. We actually probably shouldn't do that. Like, no, that's a terrible idea. We're going to do this instead. Like, sure, if you have a reason for it, yeah, it may be valid, but at the same time, like, if the athlete 100% believes, like, I have the same pair of socks I wear to every competition. Do they do anything? Realistically, no. Placebo effect. So I fucking wear them, and I've never bombed out, so far they fucking work. Placebo effect matters. How your athlete feels about training matters. How the athlete feels about if they feel like you listen to them matters. The athlete's feeling, the athlete's brain, how they perceive reality, how they perceive the coach in the coach-athlete relationship is a very big factor. If you are not listening to your athletes and taking into account their wants and their desires and what they enjoy, either one, you're going to lose that athlete very fast, or two, they're not going to progress, and then eventually they're going to leave you anyway. So you can either stick to your guns and say, nope, we're going to do it my way. I don't care what you think. My program, I am the coach here. I'm going to put down the hammer. We are doing this. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. You just may not be a coach for very long because everyone's going to fucking hate you and leave. Like, there are plenty of things I do with athletes that may not be the most scientific, but you know what? It makes them feel strong. It makes them feel fucking confident. So we're going to fucking do it. Like, at the end of the day, progress is more than just purely seeing that number go up. You can see progress in a lot of ways. Like, for example, Amber just competed at the Arnold. She did not hit a competition total PR. She, I think, tied her snatch PR, if not one under. And she did not hit a clean and jerk competition PR total. So, if we're looking at it just from that ho-hum attitude, big tough guy attitude, that meet would be considered not a success. That meet would be considered a failure. But looking at her Instagram post, you can go and find it. She said that was the most confident she has ever felt. And she feels more confident going into the next one now. Like, her confidence off the fucking chart. She had a fucking blast at that meet, had the time of her life, had all these people around her surrounding her, loving her, everyone in her fucking corner. Which means a lot. Again, like most of these athletes, this is a hobby. It is not their life. You should not be treating all your athletes like they are D1 athletes. You should treat them like fucking people, which I know. I'm saying a bunch of things that shouldn't be crazy concepts here, but unfortunately in the coaching community they are, just because most coaches come from a very science-heavy background. And if you've ever talked to anyone with a research or science-heavy background, they're not very good at talking to people. Like, we had, in my exercise science bachelor's degree, we had, I think 98% of the class went the physical therapy route. We're also taking the same exercise science classes, though, so we had many classes around, like, talking to people and exercise and coaching and all that. Most of the class was fucking jack shit at talking to people. Like, you see this all the time in, like, the personal trainer realm. Like, personal trainers are not bots based off, they're bought based off of the progress that they think they can get from that person. But at the end of the day, you are spending an hour solely focused on that person. You better know how to hold the conversation. You better know how to listen to that athlete, how to talk to people. And talking and listening to people in the coaching exercise science realm is a very rare commodity to see. Coaches in general are not very good at talking, at listening, at truly listening, at actually getting the most out of their athletes. Most of them are really good at putting a pen to paper and say, hey, do this. Not really good at that whole emotional and speaking aspect, which is a big problem. Because again, bringing it back full circle here, how the athlete perceives reality will dictate the progress they make. The placebo effect will take a role. If they perceive something as not beneficial, it's probably not going to be beneficial. If they perceive something as beneficial, no matter how stupid it is, it's going to be beneficial. Like, if the athlete truly believes that, like, one day out from competition, they feel amazing if they try to max out their squat, I definitely would recommend against that. However, if that's exactly what you need to feel confident, I'm gonna try to argue with you, but like at the end of the day, like, hey, all right, let's go heavy. Let's maybe not let's max out. Let's find some compromise there. Let's hit something heavy. But let's try it. Like I've had quite a few athletes who switch over to me, and then I find out when we're in that competition, hey, I really like to take my opener in the back. Like, all right, cool. Let's do that today, and then let's try to progress. I want to try to get you out of that so we're just not wasting energy, all that jazz. I want you to save it for the platform. But that day, I'm not changing shit. Like, if this is what you always do and this is how you feel comfortable, we're going to fucking run with what you need. That's a whole nother tangent there. Coaching is not about coaching. It is not about what the coach thinks is best. It is about providing to the athlete what they need to succeed, to become the best versions of themselves. There are so many things that I've, like, even in the past that I've implemented before that I may have thought, like, this is the perfect way to do it. This is my most science-backed, like, this is exactly what we need to do. And they flop. Because either, like, the constraints, like, something in their environment, like, doesn't work out. Like, oh, I don't even have these. How the fuck am I supposed to do it? Like, oh, just build some plates. Like, make it work. They just don't fucking do it. Like, there's so many things, like, you need to take into account what the athlete actually enjoys, which, again, I'm kind of going on a full circle here, repeating some stuff now, but luckily, we are about to pull in the driveway. We're just right down the street. So at the end of the day, placebo works. What the athlete believes, how the athlete views the world, the athlete's perspective, what they enjoy, what they hate, all of that is going to play a role. If your athlete really loves doing bicep curls before their workout, then fuck it. We're going to get a bicep pump every day of the week before the workout, because I want you not only like enjoying your training, but feeling the most confident you can be every single day in training. Because just having that confidence, having the athlete know that you are listening to them and know that you're taking into consideration what they want and what they believe they need is going to give you lots of benefits for the success of that athlete.